and pleasing to the camera.
It's happening, oh my god.
So in today's episode, I'm gonna talk about what happened 3 months after I moved out of my dad's house. I fixed my hair for the purpose of shooting this because I just want to look. Oh my god, nakita yung I don't know how this goes, but I just really want to explore the platform YouTube. That's the reason why I'm here in front of you today and you're listening to me. If you're new here, I'm Livni. I talk a lot about self-love, self-work. I talk a lot about career. I talk shortly, not a lot, about parenthood and everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, her.
I'm a single mother of 2. I have 2 amazing kids. Na paminsan masarap kurutin at ipasok sa sack tapos ihang.
In the beginning, I was like, okay, it's cool, ha.
So I play a lot of roles. I provide for my kids. There's so much drama, and if you want, you can listen to my podcast. Follow me on Instagram or follow me on YouTube. So this is going to be a commitment. I hope that I get to post every week. And yeah, so let's get into it, alright? So why are you here? If you watched my previous video about how I moved out of the house, I mean, what happened? I moved out of my house last August and it's been 4 months, almost 4 months. I think 4 months, alright? 4 months of moving out of the house. If you ask me, Lib, how were you able to move out and afford your condominium or I do not own the condo. I just rented it. So first and foremost, I'm not that rich yet. I can't afford it yet, but I'm finally earning like enough money for me to be able to rent the condo. The reason for me to be able to afford living in a condo is I just dived into freelancing and coaching as well. So I was able to afford where I am right now, and that definitely is something that I'm very passionate to talk about. So what happened after I moved out of my dad's house? And to be honest, when I moved out of my dad's house, I love you, Dad, but I didn't really feel the support when I moved out. Like, not like the other, no, you're moving out, finally, I'm so proud of you. And, you know, all the party. And welcome dinner and things like that. No, it wasn't like that. It was just me. I literally carried everything when I moved out. Ako yung nag-drive, so my dad let me borrow his car, and ako yung nag-akyat dito po sa tower na to. But then my dad like kind of saw that I was, you know, and he sent me naman din. Pero I didn't really feel all the support. Siguro maybe. Pero siguro that's like a typical thing in Asian families na it's not that common for people to be moving out. Like, diba, we usually see people moving out at the age of, I don't know, sometimes they just don't move out. Sometimes they just live with their parents. But it's not just our culture. We were not really encouraged to be moving out of the house. And that's one thing that I was able to do, and I never expected myself to do that. So, ano nangyari? Okay, so straight to the point. It wasn't easy. I mean, I was supported at home. My dad is there to pay the bills. Nothing about the rent. No, nothing much about the rent. What I just spent is my kids' gasto, my own personal gasto, and education, etc., etc. But I felt like I wasn't growing. I felt like there was so much more if I leave. I felt like the reason why I'm not maximizing the cash flow, and I was still too dependent with my dad. I couldn't move at all. Like, there are things that I wanted to do, but then when I was still in my parents' house, there are things that, alam mo yung binabantayan ka pa, which is okay naman, kasi that's pretty normal when you're at your parents' house. You have to respect also the boundaries, the rules that I have, and that's very understandable. But I felt like I wasn't entirely the best that I can be when I was at my dad's house. That's not a negative thing. I was really supported by my dad. There wasn't much growth. You know, my dad literally just gave me everything that I need. I think that was too dependent on that fact that he was always there for me and etc. And there's nothing wrong with that. But as for me, I was so ambitious. I really wanted more. So I took the chance that August to move out, and it was actually abrupt. When my dad and I were talking, like, I didn't tell him about my plans kasi I knew that, Dad, if you're watching this, you know that I love you. I'm not exposing you, nothing about that. It's nothing negative. It's just but the thing that happened that time when I was able to admit that I was gonna move out was that we were like talking randomly, and I just said like, and I blurted it out like, when after na I paid for the down payment, etc., etc. So I told him, Dad, you know what? I'm gonna move out next week. And he was like, what? I was, at that time, I felt like the relationship didn't really go well. Even after I left the house, like, I knew that it was something that wasn't okay. Like, you know, it was something really scary that I did. And when I moved out of the house, I felt really happy. Then I was so damn scared when I moved out. I had to pay the bills, I have to grocery, I have to do this, I have to do that. It was so scary because my money wasn't that big talaga. Like, it was just enough as well to pay for the rent, to pay for this, to pay for that. So that was what happened the first time I moved out, like the first month. And there was a time where, like, I was like, okay naman, afford ko naman siya, pero like, I was here, sitting here, like, hindi dito, here on my chair. And, wait lang. Maggie! Alright, so, I was sitting here, and I was staring at the wall, kasi parang, I felt like, the client that I had was gonna lose. Hindi ko alam bakit, pero parang feeling ko, anytime by now, makakat na yung aming relationship ni client. Paano na yung mga ganitong ganyan, na hindi pa naman nangyayari. You know that, overthinking, na nandyan na nga, ina-overthink mo pa na baka mawala. Alam, that's the thing with freelancing. You know, you own your time, you own your client, but you don't know when it will get cut. So parang, that was what I was feeling, na parang, oh my God, what if mawala tong client, wala akong other source of income, and then I was staring at the wall, and parang sabi ko, oh my God, anong gagawin ko? And there was even an incident where I go, not an incident, but there was like a time na it was so heavy, kasi nga, kami basta sobra na, tapos I went to the CR, and then alam mo yung sa mga scenario na ganun ka ng head sa sa CR. So I was beside the washing machine. There was like, I had a lot of instances na gano'n, na parang, where am I gonna get money? And you know, things like that, like adult people do. And that was really scary. You know, you get out of your comfort zone, and you're here na talaga sa uncomfortable, and it isn't fun. Like, I swear, it isn't fun. So the only thing that's left for me when I was in that situation was for me to like process the emotion. Na I was really scared. Like, takot ako. I was really scared, and I was sad, and I had that fear. Like, it was really scary when you're moving out, especially if you're alone. Like, you know, you spend for everything. I didn't really ask for anything from my dad. It was all based on the hard work that I did, the clients that I had, I was able to secure, and all the sleepless nights that I had, the anxiety, it was there. So when you say that someone is successful, you never know what's behind the success of a person. We all have our different, you know, struggles and everything, but when you're like super stretching and you're growing in so much, sobrang dami kong denial, anxieties, imposter syndrome, all of these things that parang I just said na okay, tama na, parang I just processed it and I allowed it to be there. I just honored it, that it's there, I'm afraid and everything. And then I cheered myself. Like, I stick sticky notes all around, and then you're reminding me that you can do this, you got this. Kasi nobody will cheer for you except yourself. So that's what I help myself with. Parang sabi ko, okay, you're afraid, takot ka, alam ko. But you should not be allowing yourself to just stay there, you know? If you need to rest, go ahead and sleep. Pero natulog talaga ako, pagod talaga ako ng time. Kaya pag feeling mo nasisiraan ka na ng ulo, matulog ka din. But I realized that you should just allow these thoughts, these anxieties, these emotions to just be there. Honor it. Just be with it. Because it's not going to be there for long. Sometimes it's just there because you're in the uncomfortable. And something that is uncomfortable wouldn't be comfortable. Hindi siya masaya. But that's when growth happens. That's when it pushes you to be extra, to be more than who you are. Because you can't deal with the uncomfortable or growth if you deal with it the same thing na how you deal with it before. You kind of get that? So anyway, that's what happened when I moved in August. Going October, I was literally crying kasi nga I was full of anxiety and etc. But then I stopped myself. It didn't really stop me from moving forward. The fear was there, but I didn't stop. I continued. I told myself that I can do this, kaya ko to. It's just that it's uncomfortable, pero I know that pag may tiyaga, may nilag. And true enough, that month, going to October, I was able to close this amount. So meron akong sobrang amount for me to survive the whole time. Na parang until now, I'm still here. That was it. That was like the whole thing that happened for the month, for the short span of time from August to December. I've learned to trust myself, because at that time I wasn't trusting myself. I kept questioning questioning myself, like, sure ba itong ginagawa mo? Why not just live with your dad? No, why is there a need to move out when you can just live and earn with your dad and save more? Those were the thoughts that I had, but then I realized when we grow, we cannot grow in a comfort zone, in a safe zone, right? Kasi it's safe nga, you don't have the hunger. Pero when you grow, you're going to the uncomfortable. And in the uncertainty, yun na yung fear. So, the tendency of our mind is to go back to something that we're comfortable para lang to keep us safe. Parang inuunahan tayo na hindi ka okay. Pero ay sabi ko na no, I should trust whatever it is that's there and just move forward. So that's what happened when I was here. I was so afraid, and yeah. Second is I learned a lot about integrity. Like I have students inside the academy that I'm coaching right now. I kept on sharing about integrity. Why? Because integrity plays a big part in everything. Ibig sabihin, honest ka sa lahat ng ginagawa mo, honest ka sa sinasabi mo, you're very authentic as a person. Kasi if not, it will bite you in the ass. I mean, like, for example, I have a client and sabihin ko, ito, gawin ko. Right? So that para lang ma-close ko yung client na yun. The client is shedding out money for whatever services you have and you cannot, like, compensate whatever that service is. Unfair sa kanila. And even if you win, like, short time with what you're doing, it will bite you in the ass. They will either refund, or if ever you succeed in whatever businesses you have, tapos sobrang successful na, and then people would know what you're up to, your name is there. So, medyo long topic siya, which I'll be talking about in the next episode of my podcast or whatever it is, whatever platform. But I learned so much about integrity, kindness is strength. Just be honest with what you do, and people would appreciate you more if you're honest in what you do and what you cannot do. Don't be afraid to tell your weaknesses, because in that way you will filter out the right people for you. It will bring you more service if you're being honest to what you're doing. Short span of time here, I learned how to close sales. But there was hunger for me. No, I cannot go broke. Of course, I have like 2 children. I have a rent to pay to. I have Yaya. I have people, etc. I learned how to help people. I learned how to offer my services in a way that is also aligned to my integrity. Just a tip, you want to close sales, ask them what they need help with and what their goals are, and from there you identify how you can help them. For example, I want to grow my Instagram, and then you just tell them, okay, this is how I do it, this is how I can help you growing Instagram, this is my strategy, and I just share it all to them, everything that I've known. I don't want to be selfish kasi diba, the thing is why I share everything that I know, the strategies that I have is for them, na instead na sila yung gagawa, yeah, they will get it, but not everybody executes. So instead of them na sila yung gagawa, ikaw na lang gagawa. So that's how I get client. And I really be honest, lalo na in discovery calls, and there are a lot of things that I can share with you guys, but I'm running out of breath because I've talked too fast, and I hope I'm not talking too fast. Okay, let me just pause. Alright, so I learned a lot. Yeah, so integrity. An update also is my relationship with my dad got better. Now understand where he's coming from. So every time we talk, I talk in a way like there's no more barrier around that, because I tell him like, Dad, this is the thing that I've learned. I was much more open to communicating with him now compared before. Parang meron siyang hindrance in between. So that's kind of like a win for me, and that really matters. Yun yung naging reward ko with everything that I do. So anyway, that's it. That's the current update. Overall, I'm very much okay. I've been growing so much after moving out of the house. And the reason why you should be moving out of your house is for growth. It worked for me, not depending on anyone, knowing that if I fail, there's no one out there for me. It pushes you more to push harder. And also, I don't want to go home to my house. Do something that motivates you. Do something that you feel is right for you. Do something that makes you feel happy. Do something that you think will give you more growth, and etc. I hope this episode makes sense. My camera is about to go dead na, and I'm just really happy that you're here in this space. If you want, you can listen more to my podcast. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. It's Livni Fortuna. Yeah, I think that's it. So thank you so much for tuning in. I'm very happy that you guys are here with me, growing with me,